Hello, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. I'm Nhung from Hanoi. Now let's come to our top stories as usual. Prime Minister calls on Vietnamese US businesses to further beef up partnerships. First repatriation flight from Ukraine lands in Hanoi. And later on, let's visit female commandos stealing roses on the occasion of Women's Day. Chairman of the National Assembly Vnews has congratulated the national women's football team on the occasion of International Women's Day and the 13th National Women's Congress, which will begin on March the 9th.
During a reception hosted for the team who won an official berth at the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023, Chairman Hui highlighted Vietnamese women's extraordinary values and great contributions they have made to the country. Hidden behind the image of the gentle and charming women are such outstanding strength, strong willpower, beautiful soul, and intelligence that remain the national pride, he said. How they surmounted such inconceivable difficulties caused by the COVID-19 pandemic to earn a berth at the Women's World Cup is a perfect example of the journey to break gender stereotypes, he said, adding that the girls writing a new chapter for Vietnam's football history has become a source of inspiration for the nation. There should be exclusive mechanisms and policies for the development of training centers for young football talents and the improvement of training for female footballers, the top legislator said.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the 5th Vietnam-US Business Summit in Hanoi on March the 8th, during which he called on business of both nations to further strengthen partnerships to contribute to the promotion of bilateral ties.
The event drew the direct and online participation of Vietnamese and U.S. officials and representatives of businesses and associations. U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry also delivered a speech at the summit via video conference. Participants at the event discussed measures to promote bilateral economic ties and sketch out new orientations for post-pandemic economic recovery. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính highlighted the progress in the Vietnam-US relations in all fields after 26 years of normalizing their relationship, with economic, trade, investment cooperation being a key pillar. Two-way trade saw a 248-fold rise to $111 billion in 2021. The U.S. is currently the largest export market of Vietnam, while Vietnam is the 9th largest trade partner of the U.S. Prime Minister Chính said Vietnam has been greatly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, as the vaccination rate becomes high, the country has switched its strategy to flexibly, safely adapting to and effectively controlling COVID-19. Prime Minister Chính called on businesses of both nations to strengthen the partnerships to promote the practical and effective relationship between the two countries.
A Vietnam Airlines flight carrying 287 Vietnamese people leaving Ukraine arrived at Hanoi's Noi Bai International Airport at noon on March the 8th.
Departing from the Romanian capital city of Bucharest, it is the first repatriation flight arranged and fully funded by the government of Vietnam to bring home Vietnamese living in war-ravaged areas in Ukraine. The passengers included 71 children aged under 12.
It is not as dangerous in Odessa as it is in Kiev and Kharkov, but I could not stand when I had to see images and clips about the conflict-torn areas every day. Many Vietnamese citizens are staying in dangerous zones. I hope they will be safe and can come back home soon. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the party, government, Vietnamese embassies in Romania, Moldavia, and Ukraine, and Vietnam Airlines for supporting us. Our relatives in Vietnam do not know specific situation, so they are very worried. Fortunately, we have received a great support during our trip to Vietnam.
They were welcomed by Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Phạm Quang Hiệu and representatives from the Vietnam Fatherland Front and concerned ministries at the airport.
With timely directions by the Foreign Ministry, related agencies, and especially with the assistance from the Vietnamese communities, we promptly deployed rescue flights to bring our citizens home. This is the result of a close coordination among relevant ministries and agencies.
As of 5 p.m. on March 6, more than 2,600 Vietnamese nationals have been evacuated from Ukraine by Vietnamese missions in Ukraine and neighboring countries. Of the people, over 1,700 were moved to Poland, some 290 to Hungary, nearly 600 to Romania, and more than 40 to Slovakia. The Vietnamese missions have assisted the people in completing required legal steps to enter these third countries and cooperated with local authorities and Vietnamese associations to provide them with temporary accommodations, food, and other necessities. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been busy working with concerned ministries and agencies and airlines for the takeoff of the 2 repatriation flights. One from Romania has just arrived in Hanoi, while the other will depart from Poland on March 9th.
Like their male counterparts, women commandos also carry arms, ballistic protection, and other gadgets, and also take part in harsh exercises and training. They are also the epitome of strength and conviction. On the occasion of International Women's Day, March the 8th, let's visit these special sting roses.
Tactical fast roping is a difficult exercise that requires courage, but female commandos in the special forces make it look easy.
At the beginning of the training, we were nervous about having to jump from a height of 30 meters, but it went well.
We were all concerned at first because we had never done these exercises before.
When I completed the exercises in the training, I felt very excited.
Not that men and women are equal. I think that if men can do it, I can do it too. That's how I encourage myself.
Before joining the army, these young female officers were all college students, and military life was unfamiliar to them. However, they have overcome the challenges and fulfilled their tasks without any hesitation.
I've always told myself to do my best. I'm living my life now, and I'm happy with my decision.
Sun, wind, and injuries can hinder the women's commandos from performing their tasks.
Last year we were rookies, so we were happy to celebrate International Women's Day with our teammates.
Being a female commando in the army is already a special thing, so the way we celebrate the International Women's Day is also very special. The group of state-owned banks has continued to maintain their leading position in terms of network coverage in the country's banking industry.
According to bank's financial reports, State-owned Agri Bank has topped the list of network coverage with nearly 939 branches nationwide by the end of last year. It was followed by 3 other state-owned banks, which are BIDV with 189 branches, Vietinbank 155, and Vietcombank 121. According to experts, many banks realize the ineffectiveness of their enlargement and they, therefore, have decided to focus on digital banking instead of opening more branches and transaction offices in recent years. Currently, the ratio of customers who open online bank accounts is increasing rapidly, and the rate is even a majority at some banks. Many banks have been also using electronic Know Your Customer (eKYC), and the app has almost replaced a bank branch.
Da Nang City, a travel hub in the central Vietnam, has just welcomed 720 visitors under MICE program, meetings, incentives, conferences, and events at the Municipal International Airport.
The delegation came to the city on March 7 from localities nationwide to attend the $2022 million round table organized by the life insurer Manulife Vietnam from March 7 to 9 to honor its outstanding agencies.
Chose Da Nang because it has great facilities, as well as the environment and the weather at this time of the year. And we're bringing over our top salespeople from all over the country to visit Da Nang.
In addition to conference and resort events, the guests will follow the local city tour program to visit Da Nang as a Hoi An Asian town, the central province of Quảng Nam. Da Nang has ensured its MICE policies in 2022 to support related MICE services providers, thereby aiding the local tourism recovery.
This month, we plan to receive 15 or 16 MICE groups. This is the first of them, and also the biggest MICE group coming to the city so far.
According to the policy, MICE groups consisting 700 guests and above are welcome at the airport, because arranged by the city's police to guide them from the airport to their hotels.
Not in paintings and not in paper fans, Vietnamese culture, tradition and landscapes have recently been featured in enchanting 3D light boxes made under the skilled hands of a young Hanoian. His products are a combination of the Japanese art of kirigami, Chinese shadow puppetry, and Vietnamese đèn kéo quân, lamps with shades and paper fingers. Join us to take a look.
Nguyễn Duy Duy, born and bred in Thạch Thất district on the outskirts of Hanoi, has made hundreds of exquisite light boxes so far. The owner of the brand Fox Design said it takes him 1 or 2 weeks to create a light box.
I experienced a string of failures before successfully making the first product. The light box was perfect and met all of my requirements.
Prior to getting started, swimmers conceptualize, design, set the background scenes, and arrange paper layers on a computer. After cutting, the paper layers are attached to each other to create a complete image.
The conceptualization for the light box is a tough stage, and it is the backbone of the product.
Right from the outset, with passion and pride in being Vietnamese, Duy sharpened his focus on the artistic craft to honor local culture.
Most of my products bring a pang of nostalgia for Vietnam's old days. Amid rapid social development, a number of traditional customs and culture have fallen into oblivion. That is why we decided to do something to preserve the old values.
Duy's 3D light boxes have received a warm welcome from local people. He plans to make more featuring Vietnamese history and folk games, as well as complex products to meet demand.
That has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thank you for being there with us and see you next time.